We are going to be discussing about the insecurity in Nigeria and my own opinion on how to curb it. But before I go ahead, let us read this together. My representatives had a long and productive meeting with the Israelis today on Gaza. Israel has agreed to the necessary conditions to finalize the 60-day ceasefire, during which time we will work with all parties to end the war. The Qataris and Egyptians, who have worked very hard to help bring peace, will deliver this final proposal. I hope for the good of the Middle East that Hamas takes this deal, because it will not get better, it will only get worse. Thank you for your attention to this matter. This is from the president of the most powerful country in the world. Yet, it is going to negotiate and is already negotiating with what they call terrorists. Remember also that Israel is one of the most powerful countries in the Middle East in terms of military, intelligence gathering, and what have you. Yet, for how many years now? It's more than 2 years now. They've not been able to defeat tiny Hamas. Why? Because of the resolution of the Hamas to stand their ground, to fight for what they believe, their conviction, mainly territorial, tribal, and religious ground. I'm going to be directing this to Nigerians who have been singing. The West said they cannot negotiate with terrorists, they cannot negotiate with terrorists. Remember how they ran away from Afghanistan after over 20 years of fighting, replacing Taliban with Taliban. This is what they have always done, but when it comes to your own matters, because they don't care about you, they allow you to wallow in self-deceit and destruction. So, what am I trying to say? I'm going to be referring this to three insecurity problems that we have been facing in this country. Three or four. So, the first one is Boko Haram. The second one is IPOB. The third one is the Extinguishing movement, that's the Shiite movement. And the fourth one is the herdsmen crisis that is now called banditry and all that. You see, if you look at the issue of the Boko Haram, it didn't start as an armed group. It started as a movement preaching against Western education. One thing leads to the other. They had a problem with the security forces, and then their boss was killed in police detention. He was with the police when he was killed. His members after then decided to start raising arms against the government because of injustice. At that time, if you notice, Obasanjo was rushing for dialogue because as an ex-general, as a general, he knows what this can lead to. Yet, Nigerians or the military decided to take the military approach. We are all shouting, no, we cannot negotiate with terrorists, we cannot negotiate with terrorists. That's how something spread to various things, and then it now made people to start looking at Muslims the same way. It gave power to the Boko Haram movement because we now started looking at the general Muslim community as Boko Haram. At that time, especially during the time of Jonathan, if you have beards, it will be as if you are a Boko Haram member. Most people were even shaving their beards at that time. So let us move to that of the IPOB. The IPOB issue also started the same way, from what they perceived as injustice. So they were asking for justice to their tribes in Nigeria. They were later radicalized after Nnamdi Kanu's house was attacked, and then some of his members were killed and all that. That was how they formed Eastern Security Network to fight the injustice they were talking about. Now, up to now, we are still on it. We have not been able to curb these two. We went ahead again to Zaria to massacre Shiites in large numbers. Thank God that this one did not pick arms against the state. Had it been they picked arms against the state, imagine that. Do you know that their headquarters is Iran? Iran will have been sponsoring them. Iran will have been supplying them with military intelligence and training and even arms if necessary. Then comes to the herdsmen again. We have been living with these people for ages. Most of us, we are born, our ancestors, we are born and they met them here. So meaning that it is not longer say they are foreigners. No, you cannot call these people foreigners. People that your ancestors meet, you are calling them foreigners. I'm not saying that there are some of them that are not Nigerians. Truly, yes, some of them are from Niger and other parts, but there are those that are Nigerians. I'm talking about those that are Nigerians, that are indigenous to this country. Whatever time they came, after all, the first person who landed here came from somewhere. He did not come from heaven. So on the issue of herdsmen, their own problems too started when the government cannot really manage the relationship between farmers and herders. These are people who roam about with their cattle to seek for greener pasture, to seek for pasture. Sometimes they stray into the farm, and if you remember, there was what they call grazing route, where they expect them to follow to every other part of the country. As urbanization came, some of these grazing routes have been encouraged, and we see most of them up to now they still used to argue that their grazing routes have been encouraged and all that. Up till now that we are talking to you, there is no law that have abrogated grazing route, and these people have that map. They still know what the grazing route is all about. So away from that, what about their problem with farmers? Little skimmish. Now yes, sometimes they stray into the farmland, and the farmers will seek for justice. If they don't see justice, they will take laws into their hands. Take note. And in taking laws into your hand, it will not make you to meet proportionate penalty to the offense the other party has committed. I'm not in support of them straying without compensation, but we have to understand that we must follow the normal process. That is why jungle justice, whenever the government is speaking against jungle justice, we think they don't know what they are doing. That is what jungle justice does. It makes you to retaliate above the offense committed, which will now make the other person to retaliate. Retaliation and counter retaliation will lead towards what we are facing today. Look, I'm not talking about the criminals who are the bandits, kidnapping and all that. I'm talking about mainly the herdsmen. The farmers are indigenous. They have land, they have houses, their address is known. Those herders, they pass by. If a crisis ensues between a farmer and a herder, how do you expect the farmer to retaliate? Number one, the farmers are usually disadvantaged. One, their address is known. Two, most of their farmland is not fenced, and most of them are peasant farmers. Rich farmers usually have their farmland fenced and well protected against wandering herders. The herdsmen too that have money to build ranches, they usually have ranches. That's the millionaire among them, or the billionaires among them. Have you heard that a farmer includes a ranch before, a billionaire's ranch? Or have you heard that a herdsman includes a mechanized farm before? No. So the problem is usually between the poor people, while the rich men benefit from the budget to curb this crisis. They don't have the money to even if they want to fight the herdsmen, they don't have the money to fight a herdsman. Say the whole of your farm now is say 5 million naira. That's about just like 10 heads of cow, those ones that sell 500,000 naira and above. Somebody with 100 heads of cow, you want to go and fight him. One, is a wonder you can relocate from this place today, you never see him again. Secondly, he has the resources to fight you back. Thirdly, is that you have an address that you can always come back to that your place to attack you, because you have a house there. Where are you going to trace him? And see, the idea that we feel that because of the atrocities of some of the herdsmen, we have now tagged them evil and all the tribes evil. You cannot fight any tribe into extinction. You can't, no matter how small the tribe is, you cannot fight it into extinction. So what do? Pick up these problems now. Look at Boko Haram. Dialogue is the only solution because we have used military effort and it is not yielding any result. Instead, it is expanding and adding more insecurity to the problems. Now, on the issue of Boko Haram, those scholars that you undermine in Nigeria, I know some of them came up and were saying, let us dialogue with this group, let us dialogue with that group. They are the only solution to these problems. You have to talk to the scholars. They know how to preach to these guys. They know the genesis of this problem and they know how to talk to them. It is only through these Islamic scholars in Nigeria you can curb the issue of Boko Haram. Let the government be sincere. You understand? Let the government be sincere. Let the government be sincere. Then on the issue of IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu is the solution to this problem. Call him. He is the leader of this group. He has grievances which might not even be about separation. What is the problem he has that made him to be seeking for separation? Talk to him, let him come up, sit down with him, let the leader from the southeast, let them sit down with him, and then whatever they come up with, let the government approve it, as long as it does not affect the territorial integrity of the country. That's the only thing. But you cannot continue to detain someone and his members. You cannot continue to be unjust to someone who pick arm against the state because of injustice, and you expect justice to reign. We will continue to revolve around the cycle without solution. On the issue of the herders problem we have in Nigeria, we can only solve that problem through the leaders of the Fulani tribe. Let us not call all Fulanis criminals. It's not possible. There is no tribe that is entirely criminal. I hope we are getting it. But when you call all of them criminal, you are only giving the power to the criminals among them, because they are going to be protected by the other members of the tribe. Because now you have, like, you are calling everybody criminal, and the whole tribe now, the survival of that whole tribe now is at stake, which they will not tolerate. Even the innocent ones among them that did not start the crisis, they can't tolerate that their tribe should go into extinction because of the activities of criminals among them. Are we really getting it? So that is the only way we can curb the herders menace. Then when it comes to the farmers, certainly if herdsmen did not encourage the farm, the farmers will not react. So government knows how to take care of that, especially through compensation and justice. If anybody feel offended, or if anybody's farm have been destroyed, let the government either compensate directly or call the offender to compensate the farmers. Then on the issue of the Shiite movement, they have not picked arm against the government. So it is easy. They have leaders who they listen to. Why is the government not talking to the leader? Why? Talk to the leader and call him, check exactly what is your problem. And most of the problems that he has is not even that he is fighting against the state. He is fighting for the detention of some of his members. And now we are still at an advantage position because they have not picked arms and they have support. I'm still telling you this, they have support, international support. If they decide to pick arms, they are only more than any other groups in Nigeria, because most other groups do not have the international religious support like that of the Shiite movement. We should be very careful about that. I think that's about that. You should know that Yar'Adua, late Yar'Adua, dialogue with the Niger Delta militants. I know some of you see Niger Delta militants, they were fighting for resource control, they were fighting for the degradation of their territory. Everybody have reasons to fight. We are not the one to decide for somebody what reason is going to fight for. You are not the one to make that decision. All we need is peace. So that is just my own take. I do hope you enjoyed this video. Please, if you do, share thumb up and subscribe to all our social media platforms. And today I'm going to make a special appeal. Please, I need my YouTube to grow. Please, I need my YouTube to grow. The link will be in the description below. Please all subscribe. You all subscribe to my YouTube channel to help us to for us to make further interesting videos like this. Thank you so much for listening. Relax and smile.